People are swimming at popular Auckland beaches unaware that sewage from yesterday's storm has contaminated stormwater flowing into the sea. Auckland Council has red alerts in place at almost all the city's beaches, meaning there is a moderate to high risk of infection from swimming. Nikki Mando filed this report from Mission Bay Beach.
Aucklanders Jimmy DeLama and Saida Sanchez and their 3 children are happily swimming, cooling down on a steamy Auckland afternoon. As they splash in the water, they are unaware of the contamination warning, which is still in place at 60 or so Auckland beaches, including Mission Bay. That's in the wake of yesterday's heavy rain, which mixed sewage into stormwater and dumped it into the sea. How could beachgoers know? There are no signs that I can see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Obviously
here.
not.
Or see a sign or something, I wouldn't be here at all. I would have gone to another beach or something like that.
They aren't the only ones. I speak to several people on the beach. None of them are aware of the contamination. All of them have been swimming or paddling. Mayor Phil Goff says the council is moving to a digital system where locals and visitors largely get news about beach quality on their phones. The council's Safe Swim site provides information on 84 beaches. Mission Bay Beach apparently has one large digital sign, but it's not much good if people aren't looking or don't know about Safe Swim. For Lindsay Gabrielski and Chris Reynolds, it's their second day in a row at Mission Bay, swimming in the contaminated water.
We were here yesterday, obviously the weather was quite different. There were a few people swimming, we didn't know anything about the contamination.
But a little bit upset that there was no warning sign, so that we went swimming without having any knowledge that there was maybe possible contamination in the water. So it's a little upsetting.
The trouble for Aucklanders is yesterday's beach contamination isn't an isolated incident. Over the last few weeks, sewage overflows have closed beaches in Auckland on a number of occasions. Andrew McIntosh, founder of Facebook page Stop Sewage Overflows in Auckland, says the situation will only get worse as Auckland's population grows. He says even by the Auckland Council's own calculations, its major Central Interceptor project will only solve 80 to 90% of the problem, and more needs to be done.
With all the densification of the city, the way that storm events are supposed to get more significant due to global warming and that sort of thing, it's only going to become much more significant. So we think bigger commitment needs to be made, and also the funding that is earmarked for the work to make the improvements needs to be protected against getting spent on other things.
Mr McIntosh says Auckland Council has recently applied for a 35-year stormwater network discharge consent, a worrying signal. For once, the Mayor and Healthy Water campaigners appear to be on the same page. As part of the proposed 10-year plan, Mayor Phil Goff wants to lift expenditure on the water system from $5.9 billion to over $7 billion over the next 10 years. He also wants a fixed proportion of Auckland rates set aside for these projects, including completely separating stormwater and sewage systems, so when it rains, the two don't mix.
I'm asking Aucklanders for a targeted rate so we can do in the next decade what at the moment the council said would take more than 30 years. I think they'll say yes, and I think they'll support the targeted rate.
Work on the billion-dollar Central Interceptor projects, a 13-kilometre long, 4.5-metre wide tunnel to store sewage and handle stormwater overflows, should start next year. I tamaki Makoro, ko Nikki Mando aho.